It did. We had some ponding on the roadways.
Live from the studios of NBC 12 and ABC 25, this is First Coast News at 11.
First at 11, snow and cold weather sweeping across the deep south tonight. Winter storms are impacting millions of people from Texas all the way to Maine.
And here on the First Coast, you're going to continue to hear rain throughout the night. The most of the severe weather has stopped, and we have team coverage from JIA where dozens of passengers are stranded. And also, we're going to break down the dangers when it comes to heating your home. But first, we start with storm expert Tim Deegan here in the Weather Center.
Tim, what can we expect for tomorrow?
Better.
Good.
Course, that's not saying much, right? Miserable. I felt for folks who were out there in that heavy, cold rain tonight, and there was some concern for damaging storms. Now, we thought the damaging storms would stay down around the I-4 corridor. Marion County was the nearest severe thunderstorm. In fact, the last severe thunderstorm warning issued down over Marion County, that just ended about 20 minutes ago. And the reason the greatest threat has been there is because the warm air is still to its south. Now, certainly we had some heavy rains and we had some roadways that, were about ready to be needed to be blocked, but the heavy, steady rains have now come to an end, and any new potentially damaging thunderstorms overnight through the early morning hours will pretty much be the I-4 corridor and then off to the south. We're still watching for you folks over Flagler County because some of these storms will still work your way, but it looks like over the next hour, any severe thunderstorms will be south of Flagler County, probably think Volusia County, and then on to the south. Doesn't mean the rain is over. It's back to a drizzle in some locations, but there is still more rain off to the west, and that is going to head to the east. That'll end about sunrise. So we'll get to Jessica's question, that is, how does tomorrow look, in just a few moments.
All right, Tim, thank you. Winter storms across the south creating big headaches for travelers tonight. This is video from a Jacksonville woman whose flight was delayed in Atlanta. And it's a similar scene at JIA where one man tells us his flight was supposed to take off at 6:45 this morning, but he says it just kept getting delayed over and over and over again.
And you know, some of us have been through that before. We know how it can be. First Coast News reporter Honey Rodriguez is live at JIA tonight with more on this travel nightmare.
That's right, Anthony and Jessica. We've all been there. You know, you can get frustrated, you're tired. And, you know, both of these passengers we spoke with, one is trying to get to Atlanta. The other one, well, is stranded in Atlanta trying to get back to St. Augustine where he lives. And I want to show you here, we've been tracking the flights, and one flight from Atlanta just landed now at 10:56, a few minutes ago. The next flight won't be coming in until about 12:05, and so on and so forth. You can see the next flight not till 2 a.m., then 1 a.m., and all these flights just kept getting delayed and some even getting canceled. As you can imagine, folks, patients are just running thin.
We sincerely regret the impact the severe weather has had on your travel plans and ask for your continued patience.
Because of the weather in Atlanta, it kept getting delayed over and over and over.
Emmanuel Myrick, who's in the Air Force, was supposed to report for his first duty station, but his flight from JIA to Atlanta was canceled.
Like, originally my plane was scheduled to leave at 6:45 this morning.
Meanwhile, in Atlanta, we caught up with St. Augustine native Frank Hogshead over FaceTime. Like many passengers, he's helplessly waiting to get back home.
I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I'm disappointed.
Please hold for the next available representative.
I had to wait for over like 2 hours over the phone.
We called Delta, one airline carrier we noticed with long lines. We were on hold for more than 30 minutes.
We sat on the tarmac from 1 p.m. until 7 p.m. waiting to taxi, waiting to de-ice, and then 7 p.m. the pilot came on intercom and said the flight had been canceled.
The weather has severely disrupted our flight operations, and we have increased our staff as much as possible to assist you.
And she just told us that there's nobody helping us at the beginning of the line.
Hogshead says there are dozens of people waiting in Atlanta to reschedule their flights with dimming hopes of any resolution. At JIA, there are dozens more.
They told me the only option I have now is to wait till Monday.
And out here at AJIA, some of the passengers telling us, yay, they're finally home, so they're excited. Some of them, others, like I said, are stuck in Atlanta waiting to get back home. Now, some of the folks we spoke with telling us that some of the apps aren't uploading with the new flight information. They've been on hold for several hours. So their best advice for you guys, if you're in the same situation, they say come to the airport, go to the counter wherever your airline is, and maybe there you can get the help you need. For now, reporting live from JIA, I'm Honey Rodriguez, First Coast News on your side.
Wow, honey. All right. Thank you. Well, there was significant flooding in Riverside tonight. Jennifer Mansfield shared a picture with us saying she had to wade through knee-high water to get to her car parked on Riverside Avenue.
So
all
you know,
that water.
I know all that water. I was driving through it a little bit on my dinner break. So you know when the temperature drops, you're more likely to turn on that space heater or maybe the heater in your home. But sometimes that can be dangerous. It can be a fire hazard. So First Coast News reporter Brittany Dion is live tonight with how you can safely heat your home. Brittany.
Hey, Anthony, the folks at home do not need me to tell them that it is actually really cold out here today. I'm sure the folks up in Atlanta as well as Birmingham, Alabama don't want to hear us folks in Floridians complaining about the cold because they're getting the snow there. But tonight we are just not used to these temperatures. I have my coat on as well as my boots, and I left my gloves somewhere. I'm going to look for those. But we do know when it starts to get really cold outside, folks start to find ways to keep their houses warm, and experts are saying don't do things that are risky.
The temps cool down, thermostats are cranked up, and risky ideas on how to keep warm run rampant, like using your oven. Experts say that's not a good idea. Why? Carbon monoxide poisoning, someone could get burned, and the heat doesn't circulate, rendering this idea ineffective. Also, using the oven to heat your home can also be costly, as the energy used can run up your power bill. Thinking about running the shower for the heat? Aside from being completely ineffective, this could cause mold and mildew problems. That's more money out of your pocket to fix a preventable issue. And then there are space heaters. The look has completely changed in recent years, but the risk is still there. It's important to keep portable heaters on a level surface and clear of any debris and dust. A 3-foot safe zone is recommended. This heater has an automatic cutoff function, which helps to keep down on fires. And remember to turn heaters off when leaving the room or going to bed.
And that was Brittany Dion reporting. The raging wildfires in Southern California have now turned deadly. Medical examiners say a 70-year-old woman was killed in a crash while rushing to escape the flames. Virginia Pesola's death is the first connected to 6 wildfires raging in that area. So far, those fires have burned more than 140,000 acres and forced 200,000 people from their homes.
Tonight, the mayor of Tallahassee is calling for President Donald Trump to be impeached. Mayor Andrew Gillum posted a video on Twitter saying, in part, "We've witnessed President Trump drive our country from one political crisis to the next. Not only is his approach chaotic, it's a danger to our democracy." In the video, he outlines how he will help fight the president's policies in the future. Gillum is also running for governor under the Democratic ticket. This message was put out ahead of the commander-in-chief's visit to Pensacola today.
Well, Congressman Ron DeSantis got a chance to fly aboard Air Force One with President Trump on his way to a rally. And he shared this picture online with the caption, "Great ride to Pensacola, thanks to Donald Trump for the lift." And while President Trump's crowd was in Florida tonight, his audience was in Alabama. He once again offered his unequivocal backing for the Republican nominee Roy Moore. Moore is facing allegations of sexual assault from multiple women, including one who was 14 at the time. Well, tonight, the Jacksonville mayor is trying to rally support around the Jaguars heading into their big game this weekend. It's this Sunday, of course.
Yeah, and earlier today, he delivered defensive end Calais Campbell a proclamation naming him the mayor of Saxonville. After that, the mayor urged the public to show up and show up on time wearing teal to support the Jags as they take on the Seattle Seahawks. Mayor Curry says it's an exciting time to be a Jags fan and in Jacksonville in general.
This city is so grateful to have what is rare, and that is one of 32. That is an NFL team. And to have the winning happening like it's happening, to have these guys playing like they're playing, it's special. You can feel it in the air. I can literally feel the energy coming when that defense is on the field. You feel it. You know something big's coming. You know a sack or a strip or an interception.
So the Jags take on the Seattle Seahawks at 4:25 this Sunday. And did you know the Jags could officially clinch a playoff spot this weekend, but a lot of things have to fall into place, starting with the Jags win over Seattle, which we're hoping for. We know it's going to happen. Then the Bills, Dolphins, Jets, and Chargers, they need to lose. Plus, the Raiders-Chiefs game cannot end in a tie. So if all of that happens, then the Jags are playoff bound. If not, maybe next week.
Well, would you quit your day job to chase a dream? A lot of people wonder about that. Well, the reason a Jacksonville man did that and the life-changing experience that gave him the extra push.
Plus, arresting the victim, why you could face criminal charges if your car is stolen.
This is my dream. Maybe this rain that was a nightmare. Well, sleep through about 7:30 and you're fine. In fact, by later tomorrow afternoon, we'll clear out. We'll expand the picture in just a few moments.
So that 9-to-5 job you have, maybe you feel like it's not just for you. Maybe there's something else you would like to do, really live out your dream. For one Jacksonville man, there were times when he thought about committing suicide, but he knew to get away from all of that, he had to pursue his passion. Lou Turner has his story tonight.
Here, all right. Go to your neighborhood. Roderick Borsati doesn't need a specific destination to enjoy this journey.
I built this car from scratch. When I got it, it looked horrible.
Not his dream car to begin.
This is a 71 Pontiac Le Mans.
But much like life, the journey can change the destination.
I built it and I turned it into my dream car. So
where it's been, where it is now.
I found this for $3,000 in 2008.
He goes by Odd Rod. He's a poet, a motivational speaker who tours the country, speaks to huge audiences.
Beautiful.
Which all began when the 35-year-old decided he had enough of his day job as a longshoreman on Blunt Island.
I was raised in a community where most people don't get out. I named myself Odd Rod because I was going against the odds.
And his life has mirrored what he's done with this car.
It's a testimony of what I came from, coming from nothing. That's my life. This car has been my life. You got a favorite song?
So he takes me on a Jacksonville road trip. Foo Fighters?
Damn.
Music aside, we find common ground with car talk.
People know that I'm in the cars, like I'm in the
You know I sold my Jeep? But then a turn towards home.
We are on Moncrief right now.
You grew up on this side of town?
I grew up on Moncrief. This is northwest Jacksonville. That's when my mom was in her addiction. We stayed in places like that. The street that I was raised on, Tuskegee Road. This one right here.
And he's no stranger on his old street.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Diane. That's my nosy neighbor.
Nice.
My granddaddy used to run from him. My auntie house. And this is my house that I was raised in.
And this is where his mom still lives. He helped get her clean.
My mom is here now.
On the same street, he and his big brother Eric would ride bikes as kids.
I miss him all the time. You know, I always wonder what his life would have been like.
His brother was 16 when a brain tumor took his life. And his mom, Patricia, says Odd Rod has carried his brother with him on this journey.
I knew that my son lived on through him and continues to live on through him, his legacy and how he inspired him to be a better person.
I mentally made a promise to myself that I would live his life too. Me going to jail, me quitting, me killing myself, me dying, would have been 2 deaths.
Which is why he quit the job he says he hated and hit the road with his poetry and his story.
Suicide is high, and I got a poem that just talks about when I was feeling like that. My mom was suicidal. I bring her into that poem, and I talk about all of that so I can let them know I was there, I was with you. And a lot of times that's all they need.
So running down his dream means a life on the road, dozens and dozens of rental cars. Just makes him appreciate coming home to the Le Mans that much more.
The journey of the car is much more important than the car itself.
And your life is a rental car, suitcase, hotel, on the road life. Did you ever see that happening? I mean,
I did not. This is just the journey. The journey is way more important than the destination.
The journey is way more important than the destination. I couldn't say that better myself. And you can see Odd Rod perform Sunday at Theater Jacksonville in San Marco. The show is at 7. He'll perform along with music and mentalist Style Magician. To hear one of his poems performed, you can go to Lewis Turner's Facebook page right now. He also has ticket information there as well.
Exactly a sleigh. You don't have to go to the mall to get a chance to see Santa. Tomorrow morning, a Christmas train will be making stops in Jacksonville and St. Augustine. Santa will get off at each stop so children can tell him what they would like for Christmas. Marine Corps service members will also be at each stop accepting donations for Toys for Tots. And if you'd like to meet Santa Claus, he'll be at the City Railroad crossing on Jacksonville Muscle Acres Road West at 7:10 in the morning. You got to get there early, and then the train will stop in St. Augustine on San Sebastian View East at 8:10 in the morning. And we're told that Santa will only be at each stop for 20 minutes because he's a very busy man.
Well, if you leave your car running and it's stolen, you could soon face criminal charges. St. Petersburg Representative Wingate Newton filed a bill this week that would make it a second-degree misdemeanor to leave your car running and unattended. The bill also requires that you take the keys out and lock the doors. Wingate compared it to leaving a gun in an unlocked car, saying it's a 2-ton vehicle that can kill people. If charged, you could spend 60 days in jail.
Now to a story sparking a big conversation online. Washington State could soon offer 3 gender options on a birth certificate: male, female, or X. Currently, Washington allows people to change their gender from male to female and vice versa, but the proposed rule would be the first non-binary option. The rule would also allow children to make the change with the consent of their parents and with a doctor's note. Oregon was the first state that allowed people to select a gender-neutral license. California followed suit.
Well, heavy rain has been falling across the First Coast. And this is some time-lapse video showing you kind of what the drive was like during rush hour. I know I went on my dinner break to get us all something to eat, and talk about the rain coming down. Kind of wish I would have just stayed inside, but...
Yeah.
You were thinking about others, weren't
That's
you,
right, that's right. Trying to do what I can.
Did you get dinner from him? Because I didn't.
Well,
yeah, who actually did you get food for?
I got it for our producer.
Okay.
One of our
That's
other
important.
producers.
That's important.
You guys were doing the 7. I would have got you something. But
We're just
not
working.
thanks.
We're just working. There they are. There's the happy producers.
They're full.
At least they're not napping after their
Right.
meal. You know, there is a positive to the rain, seriously, and that is that typically our driest month is November. Our driest 6-week period is November to early December.
Okay.
With that said, starting tomorrow through next Friday, we're going to have dry, windy weather. In other words, without this rain, we could have had a bit of a fire threat here. We've seen that in December, but not going to happen because of the rain. Did that help at all?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so maybe this will help too. So we're hearing about the snow and the ice and the frozen precipitation. Now, at the present time in Atlanta, it is very light, and I suspect that is why there are at least some flights able to get out of and into Atlanta. But note, as we head through tomorrow morning, there will still be some occasional frozen precipitation in the Atlanta area. This is basically the backside of our showers. Notice right about dawn to sunrise, and those showers head off, and then we call the dry slot will come on through. So as we go through the night, and hopefully as you're sleeping, the frozen precipitation will stay off to the north of us. The wetter weather will head off to the east. The storms will stay to the south. There'll even be a punch of drier air coming through. So that's why I'm going to use the term of clearing as we go through the day on Saturday. And then Sunday, hard pressed, I think, to find a cloud in our sky through the day on Sunday, and then a very dry pattern, as mentioned, setting up. But a cold one, that's for sure. If you're going to reach the beach, how about a high of only 55 degrees? Might be some sun late in the day, and it's going to be windy for anybody who's wind sensitive, not only tomorrow with small craft flags flapping, but probably off and on through much of the next 6 to 7 days. So overall tomorrow, the drips end early, clearing, but a high of only 54 degrees, and the winds will blow. Breaking it down for you in a few locations: Nassau, Camden, and Glenn County. Notice tomorrow morning, 45 degrees. It's not until Sunday morning that we're going to have a light freeze. Generally speaking, around all of northeast Florida and southeastern Georgia, the light freezes again will be Sunday and Monday mornings, and tending to be west of Highway 17. Putting it all together for you, here's how it looks: bright and brisk at the bank on Sunday. Anthony?
All right, thank you, Tim. Here are the winning Mega Millions numbers. The jackpot, $176 million. The numbers 46, 6, 60, 37, 70. The Mega Ball is 24. The Mega Plier is 2. I wish you good luck on this Friday night.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, 1, 2, 3.
From the Farrah and Farrah Sports Desk, it's First Coast Sports.
The Bartram Trail Bears will go for their first ever football state title tomorrow afternoon, but back here at home, it's time to dust off the trophy shelf because Range just brought another one home to Duval. Last night, the Vikings beat Cocoa 13-10 in the Class 4A state championship game. Only one other Duval County public school team has ever brought back a championship trophy, and that was the Rains Vikings back in 1997. Now, the Vikes ended their season on a 13-game win streak and denied Cocoa a shot at back-to-back titles. University Christian was looking to go 3 in a row this morning in Orlando. That's how good the Fightin' Christians have been over these last few years. They would fall this morning, though, to Champagnat by a final of 24-7, finishing with a nice 10-3 record.
Really proud of our seniors. They got 2 state championships under the belt, and we lost the 3rd one, so regroup and get back at it after next year.
We got to keep fighting. We're going to come back. Keep our head up, no matter what happens.
Well, Baker County faced off against American Heritage this afternoon. After 72 years, these guys made it to their first ever state title game, and all of Baker County looked to be out there supporting them. The Wildcats would go on to fall 44-15 to the defending champs, but after an incredible season, they know the only way to go from here is up.
You guys are incredible. That's a great football team. We would have had to play perfect today, and we didn't. But for us moving forward, it's only going to get better.
You see the crowd that came out. We got a big fan base from the community, and you know, I'm just happy to be a part of the team to be able to come out here and compete at state.
Take a shower, right? Call my wife, meet me at home, pick up some bologna and cheese.
Well, you know by now, Doug Marone loves bologna. Well, the National Hot Dog and Sausage Council became aware of this recently and sent 100 logs of bologna over to the Jaguars. Well, the guys decided to donate the bologna to Feeding Northeast Florida, and today it was distributed in the North Riverside community. That has some of the highest poverty rates here in Jacksonville. So there's your feel-good story for the weekend. And as of this afternoon, the Big Cats may be without 3 starters this Sunday. Jalen Ramsey and Telvin Smith are questionable, and Alan Hearns has been ruled out. The Jaguars will need all the defensive talent they can get if they plan on stopping Russell Wilson and company. Of course, that one kicks off Sunday at 4:25. Time now to check out your hashtag Team Sideline photo. This one coming to us from very loyal First Coast Sports viewer Brian. There is his Christmas tree, and you know the First Coast Sports team loves the holidays. So if you want to show off your Christmas tree as well, just post it using the hashtag Team Sideline. Anthony Austin, we are still waiting for yours. That'll do it for sports. We'll be right back.